Imagine walking through a quiet neighborhood in New Orleans and discovering, tucked behind a tangle of vines and garden hedges, a massive Roman tombstone. Not some local relic, but a slab of marble carved nearly 2,000 years ago for a soldier born on the other side of the world. This really happened. During a routine yard cleanup, the homeowners found the gravestone of Sextus Congenius Verus, a Thracian-born member of the Roman Praetorian fleet stationed at Misenum in the 2nd century AD. The Latin inscription bore his age, his service, and his origin, details that link this artifact unmistakably to the Roman Empire. Scientists traced its origin to Civitavecchia, Italy, and further research revealed the remarkable journey of the stone. It had gone missing after Allied bombing in World War II, was taken by a U.S. soldier stationed in Italy, shipped to New Orleans, and eventually ended up forgotten in a garden until rediscovered. The chance convergence of ancient Rome, World War II, and suburban Louisiana is astonishing. For years, the stone sat in plain view in the U.S., entirely unrecognized for its true significance. The homeowner's grandfather, Charles Paddock Jr., had brought it home from Italy and displayed it in his residence until his passing in 1986. Afterwards, it was left outside unremarked until the 2018 discovery. When archaeologists stepped in, they weren't simply uncovering a lost relic, they were unraveling a transatlantic mystery that spanned empires, wars, museums, and backyard fences. The marvel lies not just in the artifact itself, but in how it traveled, from the Roman Mediterranean to the hands of a mid-20th century U.S. serviceman, eventually growing roots, literally, in a garden in New Orleans. What makes this story especially remarkable is the intersection of lives and times. Verus lived more than 1,900 years ago, in a world totally foreign to the modern American South. He would have known wooden ships, togas, and the Roman legal system. Yet his gravestone ended up in a land of jazz and hurricanes and Creole houses where a 21st century couple uncovered it by trimming bushes. By the time authorities got involved, the stone was already part of the neighborhood's fabric. Local archaeologists recorded the find, verified the inscription matched a 2nd century tombstone cataloged in Italy, and established that the item had been looted or at least displaced by war. Suddenly, a routine gardening job sparked an international heritage case. Italy formally requested the return of the gravestone, raising questions about museum looting during wartime, cultural restitution, and responsibility across generations and borders. The stone's journey became a microcosm of broader historical forces: empires conquering, wars destroying museums, soldiers transporting curiosities, families forgetting their inheritance and moving on. In many ways, this relic asks us to reflect. What other objects in our backyards or attics might be hiding deep history? What stories might our everyday spaces hold if we look beneath the surface? The unassuming garden wall along a New Orleans street, the ordinary suburban yard, turned out to be a hiding place for an object that connected Louisiana to the Roman Empire and World War II simultaneously. The discovery reverberated in academic circles. Roman scholars, WW2 historians, local New Orleans preservationists, all drawn in by how one piece of marble bridged continents and centuries. The fact that this event happened deep in the heart of America's South, a region long known for its own layered histories of slavery, migration, and cultural fusion, adds another dimension. Here is a city whose streets echo with African, Caribbean, French, Spanish, and American legacies,
now hosting an ancient European artifact that had no obvious business being there. The juxtaposition invites us to think about how migration of people also carries migration of objects, memory, and cultural connection. In this case, the soldier's name, his service, his world vanished into time, and then surfaced in a place he would never have imagined. Finally, the story continues today. Plans to repatriate the tombstone to Italy are underway, but the journey is far from over. Negotiations, legal claims, heritage logistics all swirl around this unassuming marble slab. And meanwhile, the garden in New Orleans has become a modest historical landmark shown to curious neighbors and local journalists. The object that once stood at the grave of a Roman soldier now stands as a symbol of connection and continuity, a reminder that history is not fixed in textbooks. It may lie buried, dormant, in our own yards. So the next time you pull weeds or trim a hedge, pause for a moment and consider what might be hidden beneath. Because sometimes the greatest surprises of history don't come in books, they come in quiet backyards.